Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the ZwiftPower live broadcast of the Lap It Up ZRacing Series. We're on the Glasgow Crit course, but it is reverse. The riders have jumped out on course for the A's and the B categories. The C's are getting off in about 30 seconds here, in the D category in about a minute and a half. We'll have coverage across all of them. I'm Nathan Guerra Dave Towle, next to me, not us. As now. This is going to be an interesting one. This has never been done before in a broadcast we've had. There have been a couple of races so far through, I think, in the last 24 hours, but this is brand new to the world of Zwift racing. We're going to jump right down into the A's to not miss the first lap here for the A category. We'll have coverage across all of them. Dave, I'm excited for this because it's something we've never seen before.
Yeah, it's always good to have something new, isn't it, Nathan? So 6 laps, 19K racing. There's a 1.2K lead in to get them out onto the laps proper. But here we go. It is on like Donkey Kong, Nathan. Does that mean then this is a rebel route, right? So KOMs, QOMs, they wouldn't exist until, as you said, they kicked.
Is it actually rebel route?
Today?
Did Zwift Insider
I
do
thought
this
it was
prior to, perhaps? I'm not positive about that. That would be interesting if it was.
Can I be honest? It says rebel route. It says rebel route, Glasgow Crit Circuit Reverse on Zwift Insider. And that's my number one source.
Then it must be 100% a rebel route. That's awesome to hear, actually. Very, very cool. Now, I actually was super confused when they first took off from the pens, because there's a pens I forgot about that's over by the bottom of the Clyde kicker, actually. So that pens, I completely forgot that it even existed. I thought that they were going to be taking off from the regular pens that is over near the champion sprint. So that's pretty cool that there's a little bit even more of a lead in that goes downhill to start and then heads on over toward the reverse Clyde kicker.
And it's what a treat for all of us, Nathan, to hear you learning new things on Zwift. And that's a credit to everybody involved, keeping it fresh out here with this route. Because, Nathan, you got to admit, it's pretty rare at this point that we have a broadcast where we haven't ever raced on a course before. Again, we've been on this in this locale, but not going this direction. Clyde kicker reverse, the feature. I mean, that's going to be wicked.
Yeah, they just took it on here, actually. And, this continual nonstop climb, punchy climb, pretty quick.
After 4 or 5 times?
Yeah, it's going to get interesting real quickly as far as the leaderboards that are going to help us out here, I think, a little bit to give us an idea of what kind of pace that they're actually going to be setting over the top here. I'm going to bring those in because I don't know. It's not going to populate right up at the second here, but we'll try and get the leaderboard up here in just a moment, because it is going to give us a good idea of what kind of times they're going to be setting up and over the top of that climb. But as you can see, the pace already really being set up toward the front for this A category. A couple of familiar names, EPs in here. I'm seeing Richard Berry, actually. That's the Irish national champion, has shown up, it looks like, next to Esports. A couple of others that are familiar names that we're seeing. Looks
Charlie
like Brian, Jay Bauer, Mac is here as well. So plenty of big names here, as well as the usuals from the weekly. 1 lap completed. These are going to be quick. I mean, let's see here. 5 minutes down, 3.8. We're doing 6 laps. What do you think here, Dave, as far as the finishing time goes? 30 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, pull out, call it, a little under 2 minutes for the lead in to get them onto lap proper. So I'm going to say I'd go to 19.
So flying is what we're saying here. Lots of power-ups here. Looks like it's going to be feather and arrow from the riders. You're saying 19 minutes? You think they're going
29? Excuse me, 29.
29. Okay, gotcha.
Nathan, we're going to have always the factor that this is in the GC realm of lap it up through the month. So I mean, you can see right at the back of this group how the pressure is always on, even though it might not be full tilt boogie at the front. They never really back off. It never gets as tactical with the big swings that you see, right? With the in some races, I mean, it will completely back off. That's what allows a breakaway to get that gap and establish that. Well, today it's really, really hard to think that a breakaway happens. What I see more is attrition throughout this, even though, yeah, I mean, definitely today at total distance 19K, it's going to be, that's a quick race, but with this intensity, you're going to see guys even a couple of laps in unable to hold the pace, and it's definitely going to be Clyde Kicker Reverse where it all happens, right here, right now.
Yeah, as you can see now,
Clyde Kicker Reverse.
Giso now going backwards quickly. Velocio on the front. I think that's going to be our man McCarthy. This reverse start is very different than what we've seen in the past. That downhill that we just saw, pretty full tilt up and over the top of that, what is usually a downhill in the other direction, the steepest part of the climb. I actually didn't get a good look at what the actual gradients get up to, but now on the front is going to be Villarino. It's interesting how this is like a little bit of a roller coaster, as you can see here. Then downhill pretty sharply, and then the final kick up over the top here as Giso now takes this on. 44 seconds. This is more of a proper KOM. I mean, 44-second climb. You know, this is interesting. A little bit longer, 0.7% gradient at 0.6, over half a kilometer actually, in distance 600 meters here. Now is the ladder kick from Onyx now up at 5%. And now we're going to get right down into the downhill.
And I mean, Nathan, what's happening at the back of the group? Rarely do you want to see a cam being sent there, but these are the riders that are really being put under pressure, because I don't think that it's going to be about a breakaway right now. It's going to be about riders holding the pace as they press now into. We've talked about how the follow through is really where the top athletes make the difference, right? And this is wow. So some of the name RT in the mix. I saw him in chat earlier, and that's been one of the things that, again, the magnetism of an event, especially being broadcast as an RT, has been one of the players. This is RT Kaboom in full effect right now, making a difference.
Yeah, let's start to get an idea of how the separation's starting to go here for these riders, and then we'll jump across to our B category to get an idea of where they're at, because they are just making their way over to the top of their KOM for their second lap. 6.5 kilometers in so far here, 8 minutes down. Let's go ahead and take a look and see how this is shaping up across. I do think we've had about 40 to 45 riders make the main group here for the A category. Across over to the B category, though, as you can see, just coming up over the top of their Clyde Kicker. That's going to be the upper right-hand side of things. And in this B category, a little bit of a freeze up there for our C's, but they're on the descent now. And actually, that's the C's. Excuse me. Apologies on that. Here's the B category. Back in the 62nd place, because we are seeing the split starting to open up. So this is going to be the main chase group for the B's. 2 seconds up for the lead group, I think. Well, actually, Dave, it looks like it's all over the shop here now at this point, as riders try and get back on terms.
Yeah, good call, Nathan. I was noticing a perfect time, by the way, to leave that A's race, because I think things are going to stabilize there. But it is pandemonium right now in Scotland as we take a look at the B's. The C's almost look like Grupo Compacto. So you settled in right with this B race, and this is the place to be, because it looks like it has been super, super animated right now. So just trying to get a feel for starting with a strong field of 100. That's the perfect size in real life or on Zwift for to have a proper crit. This is exactly the group you're looking for. And now taking a look at, I mean, when you see it strung out like this, Nathan, what does that tell you, right? That the tempo is nice and high. Maybe not ridiculous, but it is full gas today.
OTR on the front now, as you can see. Is that going to be our man Manalo? I thought Manalo maybe was riding, though, in the... Now, this is interesting. Bob's your uncle, perhaps, now to the front, up in the first place here. Grant Womack, actually, now also making his way to the front. BL13 in the B category. Interesting. Womack on the attack here. Good to see them showing up here in this B category race. Is this going to be two on the same team? No, it's just similar jerseys. So, Bob's your uncle. Womack, now those two trying to make a break. And Dave, I think on this course, because of the attritional nature of this, you can definitely make a move like this and try and make it stick. Manalo is there. It was the OTR racer. It was correct. 4.7 watts per kilogram. He's got the headphones on, probably some good tunes bumping through there, as you can see. Glancing now, LFTC is there. Kroll from ATP trying to make a chase. The separation is starting here, Dave, and this is perfect because it sets up right into a climb. Now, the question is whether or not you can make this attack and then continue on through, or you're just going to be caught because those big watts per kilograms are going to be making over the top of this climb. Dave, let's take a look quickly. What kind of percentage gradient are we hitting with that feather power up? 7%.
Yeah. I mean, talk about the perfect time for this power-up. With a name like Womack, how can you not be in the attack? I love it. BL13, one of the most active teams, and that's going to be Womack himself right there. This is going to do damage. The resiliency of our field here, though, really showing right now as they go up and over the top. So, boy, that's a severe moment. The group starts to stretch out even more. The elastic may snap somewhere through but I don't know. I think most of these guys are going to hold on as we make our way through the middle part of this race. It's 19K or 6 laps total. Absolute Donnybrook going on out here right now, Nathan. I mean, I feel like a race like this, you're just never able to take a deep breath. You're constantly fighting, and that's the way it's supposed to be. The most intense half hour in sport is going to be racing out here on I'm just looking at another attack going right now, Nathan, right by Scotty the Squirrel.
Yeah, and it looks like this is going to be Barnes and Manalo up into the top, but it's Andy Kroll from ATP now going to be the first one, I think, taking down that KOM. There's nothing really for it other than, hey, my name's on the leaderboard. We'll see if we can get some data here in just a moment for that leaderboard. But it was Kroll, the first over the top, I think, trying to split things up as we head into the 9K marker out here, lap number 3. Sisu with Barnes trying to create that separation. Loving the aero power-ups we're seeing because that's going to create a lot of roll-through speed. Gray now from dirt on the front as they take on this Sidewinders. I'm loving the look. This is a completely different... Dave, I feel like I've never seen this road before. I see this road in the other direction over and over and over again, but with the way that it's coming at us and the way that the races are racing this, it's making it extremely interesting. I feel like this direction leaves so much room for attacks to try and be made, because if you're not going downhill, you're kind of going uphill.
I have 2 questions. I wonder what kind of music Dan Manalo listens to. You mentioned that earlier while he's racing through those headphones. And 2, do the racers prefer the course this direction? Obviously, if you ask 1,000 racers, it'll probably be split pretty close to 50-50. But, Nathan, I guess we have to let time tell the story. But it certainly today looks like a good example of it. Certainly adds a whole new dynamic to this course. And I expect we'll see it quite a bit in the future. Racing reverse.
Yeah, I think that this course is going to be preferred by those who like to make it difficult on everybody else, because that's exactly what it's giving to us right now, is making the racing very hard. I think there's a lot of opportunity on this course from what we're seeing as they hit this champion split reverse up into a little bit of a gradient. They're able to use these power-ups over and over again, especially with these power-ups. Then it's going to take a right-hand turn and then another little downhill bump and then right back into a long, steady climb. The thing with the Clyde kicker in the other direction is there's just not quite enough opportunity. It's one bump followed by a second bump. You got 2 quick little punches, and that's all really you have to work with. Here, it's nonstop, over and over again, bumps to take on and try and make attacks over the top of each and every one of them. I think this direction really favors those who like to race hard, and I think this is going to be a crowd favorite.
And it really shows you, the dynamics of racing a criterium where that the predatory nature of the peloton, knowing that it can close down small gaps, makes it really, really tough to try to get away. I mean, this is going to be really interesting. I mean, for most of our racers out here, we're covering A, B, C, and D categories today. Most of them are going to be just through the midpoint, aren't they? With the little bit of the tail you have to add on for the start of this race to bring them on to course proper. They should be seeing 3 to go as they come through championship banner here. So right to the midway point.
Now the kick's starting to really be made. 3.5 laps in. This is going to be the 4th time up and over the top, and there's the feather power-ups through the steepest part of this section. Now, the interesting thing is whether or not you save those feathers, though, for later in this climb, because really it's just a long enough punch over the top to really be able to gain a lot of speed and try and break the group. I'm going to be watching for the riders that actually save their power-ups for this last little kick.
So, yeah, are you saying it's more about not necessarily making a breakaway, but putting guys out the back?
Yeah, I think my take is that if you want to really put pressure on, the early power-ups tend not to be the ones that are going to put the most pressure on. It's these later power-ups after everybody's already had to do an initial kick and then over the top with massive amounts of speed. Any kind of separation with speed over the top here, if you get enough people coming with you, now you see there's not a whole lot of separation here, so not much going to happen.
So it's the keeping your powder dry concept. Waiting as long as you can before deploying, right?
Waiting as long as you can before deploying. So sort of
exactly. Right. That and again, so yeah, I mean and it's tough too to do that, right? So it's like having your finger on that trigger and you're not sure should you, and then all of a sudden you realize you missed if you go too late as well. So
yeah,
you can only hedge your bet.
2, 3 different kicks really up and over the top of this Glasgow Crit Reverse. So yeah, I think
where's it the most
that early one is kind of like, I'm going to use this to hang on. And then it's like, well, and did it really do the most that you needed out of it? If I were trying to attack, I guess the other thing you could do is just go bottom to top and just full gas it all the way.
The thing. So are you using it at the bottom to get separation? Right. So if you're really strong, you use it down at the bottom and you get your gap and then you roll it because you're going to stay on the gas. If you're in trouble, you use it at the bottom to hang on. But then obviously you're just doing everything you can at that point anyways. There's, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't use it. So you might as well get dropped as late as you can on the climb. Would be what a director would tell you, I guess, at that point. But you're really, at that point, you're struggling to, if you're hanging on at the back and wondering, should I use my power up on the first part? Well, then you're probably not animating the race. But if you're on the front and you want to get a gap, you got to surprise them a little bit too. So there's a little bit of zigging when they zag, a little bit of being that much stronger. And so there's always going to be elements, Nathan, of courage, cunning, and sometimes just brute strength.
Yeah, I think the cunning move, and kind of that tactical chess match is, hey, I want somebody to go bottom to top. I'm strong enough to hang on to their wheel all the way through, and then I attack over the top of them. Use them as much as I possibly can, and then I'm using... So I guess what in my head, I'm like, well, I think I can hang on to the top if somebody goes full gas, bottom to top, and uses their power up. I'm going to reserve mine, have that extra power up in the tank, and then if I've got it still, attack over the top to try and really create that separation.
And it depends on a lot of other things too. Are you the best sprinter in that group? Do you benefit from keeping them around longer? Are you Mathieu van der Poel? I mean, there's.
That's always a question. When I wake up in the morning and take a look in the mirror, I just double check. Am I Mathieu van der Poel? I'm not sure. But I'm gonna have to get a seat here.
But I mean, if you're another style of rider, right, you're going to play your cards differently. That's for sure. But it just seems like the way this group is so attentive and so strong. These are Bs that we're in with now. They're going to be getting the bell in a few minutes here. Give them a little more than a few minutes with as deep as they're digging right now. Look how it's stringing out on the front. Definitely an OSS situation out here today in Glasgow. This is a Glasgow Crit Reverse, something we've never seen before. As we reveal this course, as you debut a course like this, it certainly looks like it's going to be a hard man's half hours. That's exactly what we've got on Womack again on the front. So you're going to see a lot of BL13, a team that likes to animate, dictate races. But who's this now, Nathan? Taking a look at another rider, again, hitting this near the front, but not on the front. And then I definitely wouldn't say to attack now. I would say just stay up in the top 10 riders. That's where you want to be. Keep your nose out of the wind.
Manalo now has been on the go here. Bottom to top, it looked like. Womack up over the top here. No separation though here, Dave. Take a look at this pack. It's over they're not able to get away, it looks like. It looks like this is going to come together. There's going to have to be... The big question is whether or not there's some athletes here who have been waiting for the final lap to make that one move and done. If there's any athletes in here that have been really reserving the energy, we could see that take place here. But so far, from what I've seen, the bigger names have been on the front trying to make that separation go, and nothing's been able to go. We still have 30 plus riders here heading into the final lap.
Sure. And if somebody said who didn't know anything about cycling at all said, who's winning right now? I guess you'd have to say, well, I don't know. Probably the guy who's the best sprinter who's done the least amount of work.
Yep,
right?
100%.
Who's in this group.
100% here, Dave. Now, I do want to head on over to the A's category as they start their final lap. We'll jump back with the B's then, and then we'll jump in with the C's and the D's. We will have enough time here to cover a good amount of the C category as they are 13.2 kilometers in, and the B category is 15.5, as you can see. There's lots of space to work with here for all the categories today because of the nature of this course. But this is in with the A category, up and over the top of that 7% gradient. Now we're back in 13th place with Giso. It is going to be AMM now. To the front, heading toward the front, but Turner, no, is that going to be Turner? Yes, it is going to be Turner. Sorry, we were on a little bit of a mix up there. There are some lap riders getting in the mix now, but now it's going to be Locks here now to the front. The German here with that final feather power up and over the top, 45 kilometers per hour as the German and Giso are the first two through this section. Now we've got one more bump to the top of the KOM.
Boy, you don't see finales like this. I mean, we're already stuck into what's going to be a brutal, brutal penultimate kilometer here. They're going to be coming over the top over and over and over. So just body blow. So, Jeffrey Miller here, one of the very dangerous riders that Nathan you'll see the outline in the attack going again. So over the top of that, Nathan, watching out for RT Kaboom. But look how it's shredding at the back of this group as they rapidly come up on 1K to go. Well into the final lap now for our A's.
Yeah, not a whole lot to go here. It's all downhill into a championship sprint, but it is a slight uphill, isn't it, Dave? And a feather power-up is going to be massive for this here, but it's going to be Villavino now sitting pretty here. The Danish rider right in there, now making his way to the front. Not exactly where he wants to be. Now 10 watts per kilogram from Giso as well. Interesting here, Dave, as this wind-up starts to take place. Some of the riders with maybe a little less experience hitting the front already, as the other riders are just going to get the full-on benefit of massive 55 kilometers per hour into this flat now.
Yeah, and flat is the name of the game. There's going to be someone who makes that brave late attack, and there it is, coming around the bend again, the reverse direction to the finish line. The sprint has engaged, coming over. Look at that now, the French champion. That's going to be the most dangerous of all. This could be a race-winning move here, Nathan. If this doesn't do it, nothing else will. Look at the coverage, though. If they're right onto the wheel, Nathan, into the final few meters, you're never going to dig deeper than this.
Well played, here perfectly. He's got the distance. He's gone. That timing, that's Zwiftcraft right there. Milor, Onyx, Bauer. I mean, Dave, talk about knowing what to do with a course that's never really been ridden before. I mean, that was beautiful when it comes from Milor. You can see exactly why he is that national champion. I think he actually won that jersey in a similar way too. Nice little kick, gets the distance. Nobody can hold on.
Yeah, Nathan, there's something about experience, Zwiftcraft, and the fact that all of those data points exist. They know what they've got. They've just never done it before that direction, and Malure proving why he is the French national champion. That's a phenomenal finish. We're back in again with our B's now. This is perfectly scheduled out here as we take a look at Yeah, there we go. Picking up our front group, and it's big, Nathan. A large number of riders, it looks like, are going to be involved. There's Dan Manalo. We've talked about him. He's become one of the riders that we've been able to watch developing on Mondays. It's time for Lap It Up B finale. We're into the final K. We're locked and loaded here. Not a drill. This will be one of the best sprints we've seen all season here from our Bs.
It will be, and the interesting thing is who's going to go first. That's the big question, because we saw it earlier here with the A category just a moment ago. Nobody really going for the jump, though. They're playing a little bit smarter. I'm starting to see some orange numbers popping here. Is it going to be from the back now, though? There's the feather power-ups now, but we saw that getting the distance early really matters. Here goes Toby from the Zwift Club. Manalo's to the front. Womack is there as well. But it looks like, to me, one of these riders from behind might have timed things really, really perfectly. Hanley, lead belly, Hanley from Velo, but no, it's Grant Womack. Womack round the corner. Womack, will he hold on? One more turn to go, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it here. It's going to be one of the Vikings now. Both side now. Perfect timing, it looks like, for him.
Whoa.
And there it is. First one round the corner. Seems to be proving it, doesn't it, Dave?
Wow. It's amazing how really that sprint is just a classic finale as far as surfing the wave to the front. If you hit the wind too early, Nathan, it's all of a sudden you are getting the wind out of your sails as there's a block headwind, but the riders who can time that, I mean, that is even as much Zwiftcraft as just good old-fashioned timing.
Jumping back in with the C category, we'll see if they learned anything from what we just saw across these races so far as they head into their final couple of K here as well. Kaboom now, it looks like, with Cold Cloth now making a move, a little bit of a kid. Now, I'm not sure that's where he wants to be. We've seen it time and time again so far, haven't we, Dave? Those early moves, a little bit too much. And we still got the climb now to take on, though. The full KOM, this is going to be really telltale of who can hang on for that final sprint or if we'll see an actual breakaway. But so far, it's been a pack, hasn't it?
Yeah, and you sometimes wonder, those moves can be to set up a teammate or to force a chase from, the other teams out there. But in that case, it looks like just going back into the group as we're going to reset things. 2K to go out here. Good to see that Electric Spirit Company kit on the front. It feels like it's been a minute. So that's what Lap It Up is all about. This was 138 riders taking the start in our C field. So a very select group on a challenging Glasgow Crit Reverse course out here, Nathan. And this is going to send them really now. So now when an attack goes, you really have to make a split-second decision what your play is going to be.
Martin's now loving to see this with the coalition kit. Looks like he's been doing plenty of his big spins with also some nice looking headphones on. Can he hang on to this attack though? As this is going to be someone coming out of the Netherlands, Team NL now with Norlander. Now, it's a nice little feather power up. He's trying to get the distance here. Can he get it? No, they're right onto the wheel. Wahlberg here. Lundberg there as well. It's going to be Coons. The Bergs from SZ going across, Dave. Not going to let anything get any distance. We've still got quite the pack. Come on. There's a little split there, though, Dave. Just a tap, but nobody's committing to it. It looks like it's not going to be enough to get away. If they would have committed something, perhaps, but nobody wanted to drive the pace.
Boy, and it is just so tough, isn't it, Nathan? Being dangling off the front, tantalizingly close to the finish line, but having a group with that kind of momentum right behind you, as they are going to close it down. Just cover and kill with these late race attacks. But man, the C's, they've been just trying to throw spaghetti up against the wall and see if it sticks, Nathan. And it doesn't seem to, as this select group is going to bring it home. They're inside of 1K to go. So you start with 138. You're down to about a third of that, as now we're going to find out who's got, after almost, we're coming up on 27 minutes now for this group. That's a long time to be racing at threshold.
Yeah, and here we go. 2 turns to go, essentially. It's going to be a right, a left, and a left here. First one now in that right-hand turn. Looking forward to the full 180 degrees. The body's the first one to go here now. Now here comes some orange numbers, though. It's going to be Yorkman. Yorkman, solid kick from him, but I don't think that's going to do it for us. It's going to be more tag to the front. Now it's going to be Norlander, the man out of the Netherlands, with that arrow power up. First one across. No, Dave, it's not always the first one through that corner, as it looks like Norlander might be able to hold on for a second, but it's Yorkman who's able to come over the top there with that inside line. Nicely done.
So what was Dan's musical choice? And I'm going to also ask how many times, Nathan, is the first rider through that corner going to win through the years? That'll be awfully close to.
Seriously, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great question. Like, because it's been almost every time, but at this point, Dave, not consistent enough for us to call it. Like, that's the only move that makes it.
Yeah, no, and that's what makes racing so fun out here. This Lap It Up series is just a good example. This is a continuation of a few months now that we've been doing Z Racing on Mondays. All right, I need our Ds to get home before 29 minutes. I was saying everybody should be done in less than half an hour out here.
Well,
can they do it?
Yeah. The Lion King's working on it here.
Well, that's Lloyd.
The Lion King.
On,
let's go, Booker. Now, though, on the front from Team Type 1.
Didn't Lloyd become overnight one of our favorites after the way he responded?
He's a legend. The guy's a legend. All you got to do is make a comment on our YouTube about some mistake we make on names, and next thing you know, Bam! Absolute legend. The Lion King's here from the herd. Lloyd, loving to see. Now it's going to be over the top, though. Team Type 1 still here, but here comes Silva. Not too shabby, not too serious. Oh, boy, NTS.
Oh, boy.
This might be the only break that actually sticks here. He's a hard one to beat, Silva, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he's been probably, I would say, the most consistent winner, or at least on the podium from this group. He's got his spin headphones on, looks good, mirror going. This man does not miss a beat. He's sussed out the heavy hitters from our D field, Nathan.
Yeah, look at this. Back in 11th place and 10th place, they've dropped off the pace now at this point. Now, look, wow, there's a lot of separation, actually. 8th is even, 9th is in trouble.
See Jacob's comment?
I taste blood.
His corpuscles are bursting in his lungs, and so you are tasting blood.
AV now 2.7. Can he get back on terms here, Dave? I think he's going to do it. I think AV's going to do it. This is it right here, but there's a little kick ahead. 47 kilometers per hour. Oh, Dave, it's on the edge.
Man, it's going to be right there. Does he mean he's going for blood, like he tastes blood, or is his lungs exploding? I'm not sure. Either way, it's hard to say, isn't it? Nathan, this is it. So they're going to now sprint out of a really reduced group, coming back into the group. That's what it's all about.
What is AV doing? Uh-oh. He used the feather power up, and now is on the downhill. No. Oh,
boy.
Man, Coalition.
Oh, boy. Hakuna Matata we got from the Lion King.
Yeah, well, I've had some worries right now. Ain't no worries. I don't know about that. I want it for the rest of your days. Maybe after this for the rest of your days. But you still got to kick to the line as it's going to be Brooker now. Team Type 1. Dave, we've seen it. Is it going to hold? He's going to have to jump on Silva. He might have to jump. Silva, where is it? Oh, the kick is still there. It's going to be a lead out perhaps here, Dave, for everybody else, though.
Sliva going to make one last charge. This is with a question. Can the man around the turn hold on? It looks like Sliva's going to...
No, Bjornli! Bjornli gets the lead out to the line. It's going to be Bjornli. And it looks like, oh, my gosh.
Donnybrook.
I like the tactical. I like the tactical nature of this one and the way that played out. That was awesome.
That was insanely close to a 29-minute time as well. For those guys, they were flying today. RDs did 6 laps and the tail out there on Glasgow in half an hour. That is going to go down as an epic day for our D category, man. And what a finish. They blew that race to bits today. So let's go Glasgow Crit Reverse. Put that into the rotation.
What rotation am I putting it into?
A crit racing course feature circuit.
It sounds good.
Did you enjoy it? I thought it was better
amazing.
than normal.
I thought it was awesome.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thought it
Sometimes
was so
my
awesome.
read can be different. Yeah.
No, that was really, really good racing, actually. Now, I hope we've got our results here. I didn't check them before we went live, but I am not pulling up any results at the moment here. And let me just double check that I've got the correct time, place, etc. across all of these.
This has been a real journey through the weeks with our results.
This has been a journey, that's for sure. What's going on? I don't want journeys. I don't really listen to Journey anyways. I'm sorry, but
I just posted on my face or on my Instagram a big giant pine tree that blew over right next to my house. That's my neighborhood. Where it has to be a 50-foot tall tree, maybe not 50, 40-foot tall pine tree that fell over. So the winds, we had snow at BWR, where the race was in Utah. When you went to Moab, it was snow, maybe not snowing, but colder than that. Anyways, in the 20s or 30s at least. Very, very challenging weather weekend. And we got to wrap this broadcast up because there's a solar eclipse happening for a bunch of folks.
Is that happening right now?
In the next, I think, 20 minutes or so, it should begin.
All right. All right.
I guess that would be maybe they're talking about down in Texas, I assume, where it starts.
So,
but
you guys,
it's a big deal
sorry,
here.
There's some sort of setting on
eclipse. The eclipse.
The eclipse might have done it. I've got to have a little chat, though, to figure out what's going on because I thought that it was only with Zwift Games, but something got copied over, it looks like, in the settings somewhere that's like, because I have the results from all of the other events that are around this specific event, but I don't have it for just the Lap It Up events. So I'm going to figure out what exactly is going on with the Lap It Up events, because I have no results for them. I give an apology up front, but we're only going to go with I'm not going to torture Dave with the top.
I don't mind.
Top
I really
15.
don't.
I'm cutting it in half because of technical difficulties. We're cutting it in half ish to about 1st to 16th or so for the results, just so everybody knows. Apologies up front. But there's, I don't know what's going on with the ability to pull the results, but for some reason they're just not there. Well, it does, but I don't like that it happens though.
I know, but I think collectively for the community, I'm going to say I'll cut you some slack. Nathan, you do such an incredible job for us. So, and also, I'm not on my laptop, which always made it harder when I'm on the road trying to read those boards. Right. But this will be a breeze. Always happy to oblige. Folks, if you only realize what an incredible colleague Nathan is and the work that he does is amazing. So I'll take the easy part and just read names as we have our.
Did you see in chat the little bit of Journey, like
with the
joking that's going on around our little chatter around that? Don't stop believing from Kevin Osborne. Love it, Kevin. Nice one, buddy.
Thanks, Kevin. We have a great community. There's no doubt about that. So let's go ahead and, as Nathan has queued them up, Jeffrey Malure, the reigning French champion, freshly minted. We could see, it was really nice to see that jersey, the tricolor. They're really easy to pick out, isn't it, Nathan? I mean, it doesn't do better than that. One of the iconic jerseys in racing. And he's your French champion for Hexagon and winning out here today for Lap It Up on Glasgow Crit Course Reverse. 19K of racing, 6 laps out there. And when it was done and dusted, it was Olaf Nix for second, Jan Bauer for third on the ESRT team, MTNT's Tord Allen in fourth. It's Charles McCarthy there for Velocio in fifth. The Irish champion in sixth, 2 national champions at a minimum in our top 6, racing for next, presented by Insured. Good job today, Richard Berry. It's going to be Venerable Caio for 7th. Carlos Flores. Good job, Carlos. The Chilean Condor for World Elite Swifters in 8th. Scott Turner in 9th. And then Brian O'Brien for ESRT in 10th. Lars Lowe in 11th. EP out of Canada. Way to Canuck up in 12th. RT in 13th. Kim Villarino in 14th. Neil Linford Ralph in 15th. And bonus, it's Andre Knotze for 16th. I did a bonus 16th.
I like the bonus. Nice one. Bonuses are good. Always appreciate them. Let's jump it on over to our B category for this Glasgow Crit, as it looks like it's going to be Marius Fosside. Nice kick from every one of these guys. I got to say,
it's great.
They really played things well when it comes to the timing that they threw down out there. Now, reading through it, we'll have to do the count back on our own here, it looks like, but it looks like this will be first for Marius.
Great. Viking alert. They were all over the place here. So that's going to be the Norwegian flag, and Marius Fosside is going to take the win. May the draft be with you as well. It's going to be Patrick Molinari of Jet in second, taking silver, and bronze medal in third is Jason Jacoby. Fourth place is going to be the Irishman, Ben N. Yeah, another Norwegian up there, and another Viking, Inge Torgerson in 40th, in 5th. And then Dan Manolo in 6th, Grant Womack for 7th, Arctic Swifter 8th, 9th place for Christian Speidel. It's going to be 10th for Steve Jukes, Pedro Nunez in 11th, Nick Hanley in 12th, Ben Yoakley 13th, 14th for Constant Thibault, 15th for Timo BMX. Bonus, it's Tobias Hindermitt in 16th. So 2 German riders there. One getting the bonus in our results.
I just want to highlight Daniel real quickly, and his timing, Dave, was just so spot on.
Pristine.
Right here. Yeah, really well done.
Yeah, well done to the Swede, Daniel Bjorkman. taking the win in our C's. Irish, boy, the Irish had a good day. Patrick, if you want to say pound for pound, ounce for ounce, Ireland always punches above its weight. And Patrick Winder there taking the silver medal. It's going to be, and actually, I'm sure Patrick Winder, I'll get it right. It's Michael Neurlander for third with the bronze medal to go with it. And then in fourth place, it's the Englishman Andrew Mudge. Fifth for Torsten Mortag. Sixth for Harry Robinson. Seventh for Sam Buka. It's eighth for Daniel Lundberg. Ninth for Diego Abadi. 10th for good old Gru. 11th for Daniel Kent. 12th for Marcel Koens. Did I say 11th? 12th for Ole Christian Hagen. 13th for Tom Pritchard. 14th for Johan Wahlberg. And then John Phillips, JP, up in our top 15. In our D's today, another Swede, Hans Bjorling taking the win. Oh, Nathan, do you have some comments on that one for our D's?
Hans also a really good timing, and Hans actually coming through with that lead out coming on in. Actually, I also want to say Alistar V from Coalition, even with using his feather power up on the downhill that I called him out on, able to get back on terms. He was off the back and came through with that sprint. I don't know if perhaps he was just saving for that final sprint and really playing it smart. I mean, he really showed me in the end that he didn't play that incorrectly at all.
Yeah, nope. And sometimes, too, the learning curve is steep in this category, isn't it? I'm sure he came away. He'll be a better racer next time, and there'll be a win for Alistair as well. But let me go back to the top as Hans Bjorling taking the win. It's Alistair, who we were just talking about there, the Coalition rider, Alistair V, for Scottish rider for silver medal. And then Czechia, a Czech rider, Peter Sliva, who we've gotten to know well out here, always does a good job, taking another podium. There you go, for bronze. Fourth for Sam Brooker. Fifth for Stig Alsted. Lloyd King, the Lion King, in sixth. Seventh for Christian E. Scherb. Eighth for Toby Moore. Ninth for Jacob Fraser. It's going to be 10th for Dominic Harrison. 11th for Andreas Schmitz. 12th for, that's always where I seem to go wrong. 11th for Andreas Schmitz. 12th for Tomer Keenan. 13th for Paul Shoebridge. 14th for Jose Pereira, 15th for Dougie Wilson, and then bonus for Richard Terry in 16th. There. That's not our Jacob, is it?
I don't believe so. I think
that's just a very common name, I'm sure.
Yeah, Jacob, though.
Spelled with the I.
Hope he's had a good workout. Sounds like he did. Sounds like he had a good workout. But maybe, I mean, perhaps, but I think it's spelled, I do think it might be
pretty sure there's the, like cycling has Gord. I learned it's not Fraser, like well, there's Fraser and Fraser, right?
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, that's going to be it. Real quick one from us out here today on a new course. And it sounds like a lot of people are absolutely loving it. Now, if you do want to do the ZRacing general contention, you can do the GC by heading into any of these races that are scheduled on the hour, just about every hour throughout the entirety of the week for each stage to get your GC classification across the week. Just go out, bring some buddies, try to get the best time you possibly can, and it will be added as your best time for that GC. So I absolutely love this.
It'd be hard to do better.
It is.
It'd be hard to do better than
on
what
these
we
Mondays
just
are pretty
saw.
fast. Yeah, these Mondays are fast, aren't they, Dave?
Yeah, and I guess my point being, come join us racing on Mondays if you're looking for the GC fast time. Is it definitely, the broadcast has a benefit, and the more racers we get in these fields, the better the racing always seems to be. And obviously, it's going to be better with you out there in it. That's for sure.
Next week, going to be fast for Seaside Sprint. 3 laps for Seaside Sprint. Love this one. That's a downhill sprint, Dave, on that lap. I mean, that is a really fast kick, 21.8. They're going to head out from the Watopia Piers downtown, head into the Essies, and then do these quick little sprints in the Essies. I mean, through the Essies each lap, and hit a little bit of the volcano. But it's just the Essies, Dave. You hit the sprint, you go downhill by the Italian on that little dirt section, go across over to the volcano. Right away, you take the right-hand turn right up into the little kick into the volcano, and then right on over back over to the Essies. I mean, that's one of my favorite courses, actually.
Perfect. Lap It Up has been awesome. It really has. Look forward to more of that next Monday.
Yeah, and then tomorrow we have Zwift Racing League semifinals, everybody. So make sure to check in for that. 3 laps, Rolling Highlands in Scotland, scratch race. And it's going to start whittling down for ZRL to get into the finals over the next 3 weeks. So make sure to tune in for that. We will see you tomorrow here on Zwift Community Live. Thanks everybody for tuning in. As always, if you haven't done so, make sure to hit those follow, like, subscribe, comment. It helps the channel out a lot. But from Dave and I, see you tomorrow. As always, ride on.